Come in, Gary, come in. Before you say a word, you'll notice that we are not alone today. In the seat where you once sat, now sits your competition, Gary. This is Barry. He has this town by the balls, Gary, the balls. Now I want you to watch and listen to Barry, so you can see how a real pro does his job. Barry, Gary's jaw may go slack during your pitch. Do not let this alarm you. It is completely normal.
Well, Gary, let me just say it is an honor to meet you. What you've achieved in your career is just so tremendous. I can honestly say that I probably wouldn't be in this business if I hadn't read your screenplay for...
Barry.
Yes?
Don't talk to Gary.
Okay, sorry about that.
Just give me a pitch.
No problem. It's called Chase.
Chase. It's deceptively elegant in its simplicity. One of us at some point in time must do the chasing. But are we also not sometimes the chased? Or does it perhaps refer to the great cosmic chase, which we call life?
Well, no, it's just about some guys chasing each other, actually. The main players in Chase to get to the truth are Sohail Ansari, a man on the run.
Do you hear that, Gary? He is mocking you. Barry here, the toast of the town, has waltzed into my office brimming with so much confidence that he has decided that the first sentence out of his mouth will be a direct imitation of your remedial hackery. Ha ha ha! Great one, Barry. I totally thought you were serious for a minute. You started to identify the main players in Chase and then ended your sentence after giving me a singular name.
Gary, there was no disrespect intended. I did not mean to mock you or your life's work.
Barry?
Yes?
Don't apologize to Gary.
Right. Moving on. DIG Ranveer Tyagi, who has vested interest in getting to the bottom of a murder in which Sohail is involved.
Ah, of course. Upon introducing Sohail, you saw no reason to have mentioned that he was involved in a murder. A normal person might see this as relevant information, perhaps even the defining characteristic of someone you are meeting for the first time, rather than something to casually mention later on in the conversation. Mother, this is my new boyfriend, Sohail. He works in the tech sector, enjoys playing cricket, and has a pet iguana. We'll be heading out to the movies now. Oh, and silly me, one more thing. It's probably nothing, but if you must know, he's been directly involved in several murders.
Inspector Sidharth, right hand of the DIG who is monitoring Sohail's actions.
The right hand of the DIG is monitoring Sohail? Whatever might be the reason for that, Barry. Is he suspected of using his internet connection to illegally download recently aired episodes of Breaking Bad? Perhaps recent political donations to a rival party have triggered the ire of the inspector's higher-ups. Or perhaps is it the involvement in murder you also casually mentioned just moments ago?
In this scenario enters, you know what? Is this working for you, like, at all? It's just kind of weird, me reading one sentence at a time and then you responding at great length and at a high volume. To be honest, it's unlike any pitch meeting I've ever participated in. You know what? I'll just keep going. In this scenario enters Nupur Chauhan, who is involved with Sohail closely.
This scenario? You've just told me 3 character names and vague hints of what they might be up to. There is no scenario. This is no more a scenario than a table with 3 items on it. A can of imitation crab, a bottle of Surge, and a package of cedar shavings intended to line a guinea pig's cage isn't a scenario. Oh, these things may have a purpose, but the audience doesn't know what the hell it is. Perhaps they are for sale at the world's worst garage sale? Or maybe their purpose is to be blended into a coarse slurry and drank as part of a cult initiation. Either one is entirely possible when an utter moron is the quote-unquote brains behind the quote-unquote scenario.
Wow. I mean, should I just go now? I gather that this meeting is not going in a direction that is satisfactory to you, and it's honestly very hard for me to believe you'll be giving the rest of this pitch a fair shake after this series of outbursts. No? Your silence indicates that you want me to continue. All right. The other players of this chase are Surabhi, Sohail's love interest, and industrialist Mr. Khanna, to whom money is the solution of all problems.
Ah, Mr. Khanna. So naive. Mr. Khanna would be disappointed were he ever to talk to me, for I would have to inform him that despite being a powerful man with piles of money stacked on top of furniture comprised of smaller piles of money, I still have a problem sitting directly across the desk from me. A problem that insists on moving his lips and tongue in combination with controlled breaths to propel drivel towards me at an alarming rate.
Sir, forgive me if this crosses a boundary, but it strikes me as unseemly at best and bordering on the boorish to bring up how much money you've earned during your admittedly successful career. Is that crossing the line? If so, I'll show myself out. No? Okay then. Added to this, there is Anthony DaCosta, who is also in search for the truth.
It's a bit predictable, don't you think, Barry? Adding Anthony DaCosta in search of the truth? Seems like every movie these days has a scene with Anthony DaCosta being added to the search for the truth. If I could go just 1 week without seeing a movie with Anthony DaCosta being added to the search for the truth, I could die a happy man, Barry. But these trend-chasing screenwriters just keep throwing Anthony freaking DaCosta and his damn search for the truth into every stack of papers that winds up on my desk.
All this seems to be taking you by surprise. Did my agent not send you the script ahead of time? That must have been what happened. Let me just call him and sort the matter out. Yes, hello, Arthur. Barry here. Yeah, just at the 1 o'clock script meeting. Yes, he's here. Arthur says hi, Gary. Anyways, just wanted to triple check. You did send the script over this way. You did. He read it and loved it. Right, why else would he have even taken this meeting? Well, it just seems that things that are fairly major plot points are, well, angering him. No, even if you'd read the roughest of outlines, you'd have picked up on those things. Yes, lots of yelling. No, he hasn't threatened to do that yet. Really? Piranhas? Right. Again, I know you're on top of these things. I just had to check. Talk to you later. Well, I just had to make sure. Guess I'll soldier on with the screenplay. The hunt for Sohail and search for truth takes us through the streets of Mumbai in an exciting and thrilling chase.
I can already hear the word of mouth on the street. What movie did you see? Oh, it was the one with the guys in search for the truth. Oh, the Truth movie. I heard it was exciting and thrilling. It was. It was an exciting and thrilling search for the truth. What was the Truth movie called again? Chase. What? You've just lost me, I'm afraid. Looks like I'll have to take 3 dozen tickets to the Smurfs movie instead. Damn it, Barry, your confusing, terribly named movie is not only losing us money, it's directly helping our competitors.
Gary, does he do this often? Makes up both sides of a conversation, then act as if it is actually taking place somewhere? He is aware that nobody has ever had that conversation, that the movie has not come out yet, and that when it does, the Smurfs will be long gone from the box office. Are we sure his phone is plugged in, that this is even a real office? I'm sorry. Back to the pitch. The Truth has the potential of blowing up the entire political system apart.
Ignoring the horrific construction of that sentence, Barry, the Truth also has the potential of blowing up something else apart, should it continue to be mentioned in this pitch. Something you may be attempting to start using keys and ignition. Something that may provide you with personal transportation from point A to point B. Something that contains power seats, XM Sirius satellite radio, and is 452 miles overdue for an oil change. Something that you purchased from Autotrader.com in the fall of 2004 after comparison shopping at various local dealers as well as Craigslist, but you weren't comfortable buying it from Craigslist because they put that giant all-caps warning about beware all office-to-ship cars at the top of the page. Something that...
My car. You're talking about planning some sort of explosive and blowing up my car with me in it. That was pretty clear early on. It seems a touch odd that you would have done such intricate, excruciatingly detailed research into my car purchasing history, yet remained entirely ignorant of the script we were meeting about, but that's Hollywood for you, right? Moving on. The line between truth and lies gets blurred.
Say truth again, Barry. Say truth again. I dare you. In fact, were I Schwartz, and were you Flick, and were Gary, Ralphie's idiot brother Randy, and were this dismal, joyless affair of a pitch meeting, the beloved family classic A Christmas Story, and were the act of licking a frozen flagpole, you saying the word truth again, I would shockingly breach etiquette by skipping the triple dare and going straight for the throat by triple dog daring you to say truth again!
Who is the victim and who is the criminal?
That's better.
What you see may not be the truth.
Damn it, Barry!
Do the criminals... You know what? Can we backtrack 30 seconds? Because that whole Christmas Story bit was one of the strangest things I've ever heard another person say in my life. I mean, ignoring the fact that you consider it appropriate for a grown man to triple dog dare another grown man during the context of a business meeting, which is remarkable by itself, but to assign all of us roles, even Gary, despite the fact that he hasn't spoken this whole time. I'm curious, who would your secretary be? Maybe your stapler could be Scott Farkas. I didn't think I'd be so amused so soon after having my life threatened, but that was just delightful. Proceeding. Do the criminals get caught? Does the victim come up the winner?
And while we're asking questions, who in God's name are the criminals? Who is the victim? What in the hell is going on in your screenplay?
Who is Sohail Ansari, and what is the role of Anthony DaCosta?
These are things you're supposed to be telling me, you quivering buffoon! I have a theory, Barry, and I challenge you to prove me wrong. I postulate that you are not a man, but rather a jellyfish who somehow obtained a copy of Final Draft Pro and a MacBook and was able to bang out a screenplay with his tentacles despite lacking a backbone or brain. And while this feat may be admirable, perhaps the crowning achievement, the pinnacle of jellyfishdom, when compared to screenplays written by actual humans, beings who possess central nervous systems, the achievement seems less impressive and more a depressing reminder of jellyfish's limited climbing ability on the evolutionary ladder. If you are considering stinging me in retaliation for these blunt truths, Barry, I kindly ask that you do not. I was stung as a child, and I remember it hurting quite badly.
I really think there might be a gas leak in this office. I mean, the never-ending parade of delusions, rage, paranoid jellyfish-related fantasies. Am I dead? Am I being judged? Are the gates of St. Peter really just a mahogany desk on a 15th floor Hollywood office? Or have I already failed the judgment, and this is some inner circle of hell where everything I say for the rest of eternity will be followed by some sort of bizarre, unhinged rant while Gary just sits here like a ventriloquist dummy beside me? Well, dead or not, I'm finishing my pitch. This chase for the truth ends in nail-biting, tense, and unusual climax, which will leave you spellbound.
Why, Barry, I feel as if I'm being pandered to. For years, my number one rule of movie making, the question I first ask of every script that crosses my desk is, does this movie have tense and unusual climax? And now you waltz in and right up front you present me with a movie which you claim outright has not only tense and unusual climax, but also nail-biting? It's as if you were trying to butter me up. But as the saying goes, flattery and tense and unusual climax will get you nowhere. That's not a saying! Of course I don't want tense and unusual climax in my films. It's not even a real phrase. And if you do say it, it sounds weird, uncomfortable, and vaguely sexual.
You know, I had 2 movies to discuss with you today. Do you think it'd be worth it to even discuss the next one once we're done with Chase? I just kind of feel like we're at a creative impasse here. Am I accurate in picking up on that vibe? It's a shame. I sort of led with the more experimental one. I suppose next time I'll just start with the more mainstream project. Back to Chase. It is said that you are innocent till proven guilty, but what happens when the law is interested in punishing the accused without verifying his innocence or guilt?
There's your tagline, Barry. Just slap it on the poster. Let us usher in a new era, free of punchy, memorable taglines. So long, in space no one can hear you scream. Take a hike, be afraid, be very afraid. Your services are no longer needed. Why so serious? Because there's a new sheriff in town, and it's a giant 72-point font. It is said that you are innocent until proven guilty, but what happens when the law is interested in punishing the accused without verifying his innocence or guilt?
What happens when the law upholder are ruthless and have no scruples?
What happens when a screenwriter possesses no discernible talent other than a knack for wasting people's time? I'll tell you what happens. Powerful men yell something to the effect of, Gary, get the hell out of my office!
It's been real, Gary. Still a big fan. Have your people call my people.
Barry?
Yes?
Don't talk to Gary.
Right.
Barry?
Yes?
Get the hell out of my office.